shows up, I guess that denies the Cammy approach, does it not? I feel like for a lot of Cammy players, they decided that matchup to be not super fun in the last season. This season, we don't see that much DJ, but still a very powerful character. I feel like on paper, they're really only the
big... be like the big highlight for all of us here, watching what Pugera does with DJ, but we obviously have to go through the first couple of rounds, right? Kawano with Akuma, I think is such a strong way to start. I can't imagine who you would send up first. I don't want Lashar to be the starter. I think it'd have to be Tokido.
I agree with that, but I want Tokido at the very end, though, I feel. If someone's going to have DJ practice, either Lashar or Tokido in terms of, like, traveling overall, it's going to be Tokido, though. So maybe Lashar goes at the very end, even though that matchup's not that fun for Ed. I think it's maybe even what's annoying on both sides. We'll get to that a little bit later on. But you're right. I think maybe Lashar going first is a little bit too much. Send out Tokido. I feel like he's always warm at all points. First or two for him has been a big thing. And against Kawano, they both wanted to play against each other when we saw Haniko's choice. Or that was a choice that I feel like they were sitting out, or to point out, I mean. But Kawano does have some good practice against the Ken pick. We saw how he did against Nauman. The first game was to Nauman, but the other two after that were clean by the side of Kawano. Now, the matchup got a little bit different. Fireballs are easy to counter. You can run DP those a bit easier. But the neutral remains in favor of Akuma, in my opinion. We're getting the interview here from Kawano, getting some words. I'm curious to see what his words are to Tokido. He's curious about the matchup. I hear some cheers, so it looks like it was a little bit on the short side.
He was definitely sounding confused.
Yeah, like,
I will admit. Kawano was just like, I guess I'll do my best. Oh, so we do have a bit of a translation now coming in from the side of Kawano. He was a little bit confused. He was like, yeah, I did what I have to do, and now I'm here, and I'll take him down.
What else can you do? You know, again, I think the positioning, they probably didn't expect Tokido to come early. Maybe they expected him to come at the end to fight the DJ pick from Pugera. Tokido says it's the important first game of this grand finals, and he's definitely right. You want to have the tone set with that aggression. You want to have that tone set with some points on the pin. Feel like you're on the back foot, even though it's a few points, because those things add up. You want to have that mental weight off you as much as possible. Every point matters out here at the grand finale. You don't want to have to give up games or send out things or test picks. We saw how bad that was with Kawano, and that wasn't really just him giving up games. It was him making a desperate pick in Street Fighter V with that Vega pick. But now he's found a character, so I don't think it'll happen as much. But again, every match matters, every point matters. So this is going to be the tone setter, I do believe.
I'm trying to look at the overall record that Tokido has against Akumas in general. He has a 100% win record, 2 wins, 2 games. I know one of them was up against Jazzy, if I'm not mistaken, in the very, very first week. But I feel like a lot has changed since then. I don't think in regards to
kind of piece him up in the corner when you get there, as you do everybody as Ken, and you get that extension, like you get any sort of conversion into the corner, I should say, excuse me. I feel like Ken doesn't have the roughest time against Akuma. Ken's a very weird character. On paper, I feel like you see some matchups, you're like, maybe he doesn't do that well. But the fact that his win condition is so easy compared to other characters, get somebody in the corner with any interaction, it could happen. It could kick. It could also defeat someone like Kawano. But this is grand finals, people. I'm gonna let Aru do his thing.
God bless. Here we go. Game 1, baby. We got Good 8 Squad versus Yogibo Reject. Kawano versus Tokido. Starting things out with that light kick that you love to highlight over and over again. Kawano striking first. Now, one of the biggest things that I do love about his Akuma, right? He's like a protection dog, right? Once he bites down, he won't let go, right? He's got what it takes to compete with the finals, right? To constantly put people under pressure. Do get this punish counter, gets the drive rush forward, and a very important tech from the side of Tokido. One of the biggest things we're looking for is how Tokido finds his way towards mid-screen and also establishes his own offense.
Yeah,
forward exposure!
It's happening right here for the Akuma. Dash up throw, this is where Akuma can really cook. So many buttons you can work with. Oni Fireball, you got a lot of drive gauge as well. Dash up throw, he techs on the third one. Can he find a size? Because the perfect parries there. Trying to keep pace with the fireballs. Back throw. No. The walk-up throw from Kawano will seal the deal. And what patient fireball play do you see from Kawano? No OD just spit just yet from Tokido to cut through.
Big explosion of damage in the corner carry is so important. Another important tech from the side of Tokido does get the big punish counter and possibly the carry as well from the enhanced Tatsu dash 2 times over. Knocking on the doors for a frame trap, but no fight up until Kawano backing up and finding that important hit again to set the tone. Fireballs right in front of Tokido. Tokido not really able to get perfect parries in a position to get a punish, but at least trying to nullify some of the fireballs with Tokido. His timing is all off.
Ooh. Continuous burst. It's level 2, level 1 fireballs, the heavy fireball, and look at how close he is. He's so confident to be that close. One bad jump and you can equalize it. But Tokido here has spent quite a bit of bar to do so. The trade still favoring Kawano as he has the lead, peppering down with the OD fireball, level 2 fireball. Look at this, my man's eating it for lunch, breakfast, and dinner. This man's a winner. Kawano, crouching medium kick, fireball, stand light kick, simple stuff, solid execution to keep Tokido out.
When you were highlighting some of the strats and some of the strengths that Ken does have, you could kind of flip it over and turn it toward Akuma and see the exact same stuff in regards to what the offense is looking like. You do have a little bit of layers behind it because Akuma actually does have access to cross-frame normals. We don't see that just yet. We haven't really seen it utilized because the fact of the matter is, Kawano hasn't needed to do any of it just yet. The corner already being given to Kawano off of some of the stray hits he's collecting from Tokido's lack of defense.
Finally, a perfect parry. He's able to get in right after the drive rush stab. Got close enough to do so. See what Kawano able to fight out. Finds a heavy kick, crouching immediate punch. Sweep the double. Not even double dash up. Drive rush throw right after the dash. Tokido breaks the throw, but it seems like Tokido doesn't want to spend any bar for that OD fireball, or at least rarely. He'd rather spend that for like a drive rush stab after a perfect parry, just like so.
Oh, what a stop too. Majority of the time he's thrown out standing light kick, but he was absolutely ready for the counter. But crouching medium punch completely stuffing the drive versus 10 from Tokido. Look at that match point. If the adjustments need to be made, it has to be done now. Standing light kick as a punish counter, perfect parry. Not gonna go for the side switch, instead we're gonna go for meter and the carry. I like this. Tokido, very ambiguous, and what a tech, what defense from Kawano thus far.
Still the best. It's hard to read when he wants to go for these defensive tactics. Carry, gets the punish right off, hands Tatsu once again. Fakes up setup, deep the jump fears, harassing the drive gauge. Throw, but we're out of there. The dodge kick able to hit. He tried to go for the crouch spears, anti-him. He got blessed from above into the sipping that calamity. This obviously won't kill, but it will put Kawano into the green for drive gauge and take quite a bit away from Tokido. That means less drive rush, means less perfect parry. Drive rush DP, the anti-air. The overhead the back throw instead.
Oh, this is gonna be a big rain out for other drive gauge, but this is gonna net a ton of damage to Tokido. What do you do now to enforce the point? What do you do now to force either the burnout or the big mistakes from Kawano? Yes, sir, I like that. No matter how you slice it, that would have been Tokido's round. If the block had happened, he would have been in burnout, and he still would have been enough within range to force a big drive impact for the stun. I love the recovery from Tokido thus far.
Drive impact, not the correction, right? Good call out right there from Kawano. Pick up the proper one. Drive impact, he catches the brawl. Even better this season, that crouch kick into drive impact. Way more of a stable option for Akuma. Throw. A shimmy, the finesse and bless. Put this man to rest with the Imperials in. Foul. Kawano, 2-0 on Tokido.
Damn. Only a single round was bestowed upon Tokido. We thought that would have been the beginning of something beautiful. But Kawano, you know what? He understands when disaster strikes against Tokido, you got to keep striking. You got to keep knocking him down because that was flawless, in my opinion. In terms of the game plan against Tokido, what he thought he was going to do, he called it all correctly. Even tracking down the jump back a little bit earlier ago with a drive rush forward into the DP, knowing full well that Tokido wanted to adjust and readjust position-wise. Tokido would not let him go through with it. 10 points, well awarded from the side of good 8 squad. Kawano, we talked about how important it is to set the pace. This guy's already bringing all the energy. Now it's up to Gachikun to keep defending the turf.
Wow. What a match. What the first match. Okay. I'm back. Sorry. Just stars in my face. I think at this point you send out Akira. I don't think DJ and Akira are like friends. I feel like Cammy is not having a fun time having to fight that character because he can anti-air very effectively. So I'm assuming Akira? Okay, that makes sense to me. But, you know, on paper is on paper. In the match, though, we've seen this lab rat be able to be effective against Cammy. I've seen him practice against Cammy. He knows when people want to go for that crouching medium kick, he has that forward heavy kick to low crush from Rashid as an option to outpoke that character, or at least try to outpoke in that scenario. And I think he's going to be prepped to prepare. I saw him fighting with Mizula and a few other Cammy players on CFN. So we'll see if that can work out against the Speed Star, who has, again, been more hot than cold. In fact, like he's been hot the entire time without, you know, with only a few exceptions, I should say.
Yeah. It's really just a matter of like how Akira wants to play, right? I think one of the biggest outliers that he, I guess not outliers is not necessarily the word I want to use. Like, I think in terms of his overall playstyle and how he's been performing, I think ambiguity is the right word to kind of explain his approach. I think he's done a great job of turning bad situations into a 50-50 for a lot of the cast, a lot of the players out here. What I mean is, he's taken a lot of liberties with some of the ranges that he's exploiting with the dive kick and also with the OD dive kick as well. I think he's done a great job of enforcing a lot of fear despite Cammy being negative, because he's willing to throw out something pretty much insane, which is OD uppercut right after some of his negative frames where he's not at, where it's not his turn to press. So that alone at least tells me that, like, seeing him go this far, it tells me at least, you know, there are players out there that still really consider playing it by paper, playing it true to the numbers when it comes to understanding when it's their turn to press buttons and or not to, right? So Akira throws a lot of that logic out of the window. And I think that's one of his biggest strengths against players like Gachikun.
Yeah, you have the very standard player that's like about and by the numbers and by the book. And Akira, who just throws it out the window, but he does it because he understands the game. He's a big tech head. He understands how players want to play and certain players want to play. So I think that'll be a very big strength for him. Even if you do win the matchup on paper, are you effective against like the playstyle? Like playstyle is a big thing in Street Fighter 6. You could be effective in the matchup, but you meet a playstyle that's completely different. You might get cooked and washed. Now going to the interview, Gachikun says, Kawano started us off fantastic. I'll win to keep this going. And Akira says, I'm pretty nervous, but I will not be losing against Gachikun. I like that statement. So I will not be losing against Gachikun. We go back to what you were saying. I like the fact that he has that tendency to bust out when you don't expect it. And it probably frustrates a lot of these players. It's like, bro, it's not your turn. What are you doing? So you have to keep your head on your shoulders when that does happen and be like, okay, he got that. That's fine. Set back to neutral. It's okay. Maybe he'll drive rush stand fierce right after or whatever. But just take it. Try to bait it out next time. And don't let it bother you or affect you. And plus, you're Rashid, you have level 2. You can put the same sort of pressure, well, I guess in a different way, when that Yasar comes out to play. You know, she's got ways around it with level 3, but for the most part, it's not a lot. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what the mix is on either side. Gachikun and Akira. Next match.
My God, the intensity is crazy, man. It's almost palpable. It's wild. Just seeing these players getting themselves ready. This is what the introduction usually looks like, right? We're starting to see who would make the first error. Gachikun obviously spacing himself out, and just like that, already showing off that ambiguity and that volatility. Again! OD uppercut, Akira is wild right now.
He gets aggressive, gets the bar back, already back in the green after spinning so many ODs. Counter hit, OD side switch, I like this. Radiant Cyclone. Heavy kick, crouching medium punch with a punish counter. These fireballs every so often. Have to be careful sending out the fireballs. Easy dive kick for her. Staggers the crouching medium punch. Gets the punish counter. Sends him off with the super. One more touch. One more hit. Wake up, reversal light punch. Push back, yeah. Stagger, Sand Pierce. Gachikun brings it back by a precipice.
Just a bit of a pixel. Outside of Gachikun, going full one to Akira. If you wanted to try to get out of something, any sort of block string, any sort of frame trap specifically, you would have to expend that level 1. Obviously, he wasn't willing to do it. With the Forward throw, anything you want to at this point. Level 2, he jumped right into it. Akira in big trouble. We get the enhancement. Getting it to link, it's totally fine. The pressure is still there. Level 1 incoming. Doesn't even need it, I think. Yes, sir. The juggle afterwards. He wasn't even done with that combo. He could have done anything he wanted to afterwards. Gachikun making quick work of the Speed Star, claiming the title to his own.
You know what's really cool is I like that Gachikun did like dash up fireball, kind of switch it up. If you're standing in one spot, throwing out fireballs, you're gonna get dive kick jumped in on, and then you're gonna be feeling upset that the character can't anti right after or properly. So he did a dash up fireball, and sometimes he'll also do like drive rush fireball too to switch it up a little bit, especially on players that are a lot more active to catch them lacking. That's set up for the level 2 to come through. Sets us up for another fireball and the pickup right after. What a great read. A dive kick, you don't get the side switch unless you got the OD right after on that smile arrow. So you're spinning some of that bar, but it works out. Put him out in the corner.
Back throw. Throwing out the fireball just to check what Akira does to counter it or even approach it. Big punish counter, actually. That was actually pretty far away. That was a giant error. We do get the Cyclone, OD spinning mixer. We do get the Arabian Sky High with a one-framer mid-screen.
That's clean. He dives, box it out, box up the ODDP. He's like, I know what you about. I rumbled that jungle too, buddy. Blocking like a pack of Legos. This dude, Gachikun, set point. Not only is he a lab rat fighting the characters, also the players. He's been studying.
Oh, what a delay on the overhead, but smart decision to hold on to that parry from the side of Akira now. In terms of defense, I think he's been pretty wild thus far. We'll see if he can tone it down a little bit in some of the decisions he's made to press buttons in some of the strings that Gachikun's presented, but we need to see some of these big conversions off of the straight normals. Again, the big interruption. He tried to go in, good drive was caught short, and it was still short, no pun intended. Did the forward throw, do it again, enhanced, maybe spinning mixer? No, he just lets him out scot-free. Good amount of damage either way though. Corner control, 2 throws worth of damage.
The snipe. Attackers are stand medium. The Fierce is there. Level 1. Machine kick gets it. Almost does. One more touch. One more tap. One more hit. Let's see. The freeze will kill. Jump in. Stay Fierce. Spin knuckle. Try to push him to the corner. The drive gauge. Walks under and just gets a jab. A dab will do. 2. Another 2-0. Another 10 points.
So much control from the side of Gachikun, right? You saw that introduction. We talked about how stern and strong his defense is. Like, we always attribute him as having some of the cleanest defense in the game. When you see his mentality round after round after round, you see him kind of like give up some of that space to set the tone because he's looking for any big opening. He's looking for Akira to kind of be impatient with some of his reaches, right? Some of his pokes. That alone, I feel like, sets so much of the pace for Gachikun. It's like, all right, well, I know exactly the ranges he wants to play at, and I'm going to go ahead and smother him as soon as I punish him for it. I think he has not let go of that idea afterwards after that single knockdown, and that's really what set him apart towards his opponent. I think Akira had a lot of decisions to make on defense. I think starting things off with the back-to-back OD uppercuts, and also every so often the OD, the jump and then OD dive kick. I think those decisions have kind of weakened his overall defense, right? Like, after he got hungry with his drive gauge, he had to resort to just normal defense and relying on 4-frame normals and blocking, which he wasn't able to do successfully. So that was actually pressure implemented upon himself for his early aggression on defense.
Looks like to end out this first set of matches, they're going to be setting out Lashar to go up against Pugera. And we talked about this a little bit ago. The fireball play actually might be a hindrance against Ed. We don't get to see this matchup too often, but whenever I get to view it, you mentioned the knee shot being important. It's hard for Ed to consistently anti-air that. The fireball play also makes it kind of hard to run your flicker gameplay. You try to throw out a flicker, he's got the OD fireball, he drive rushes in with the stand fierce right after, or maybe he's close enough to go for that strike throw, whatever it may be. So you're gonna really have to harass the drive gauge from Pugera. You're gonna have to clip away at that drive bar as much as possible. I'm curious to see if things do go bad, if he has to switch over to Bison. But this had to have been intentful for him for them to draw out other certain players. And I'm assuming Pugera knew that Lashar was going to come up because ain't no way Akito was going to come up, or a different player, and he was prepared for any of those other three, possibly. Or I guess two, because you wouldn't set up Sim. You would not set up Sim against DJ. So we're going to get the interview here from Pugera and get some words from him, possibly why he probably played DJ, and here's Lashar as well, his interview.
この不人気を帰りたいですね。はい、頑張ります。頑張ってください。ありがとうございます。
Let's go, man. My man is sharp in English. He is sharp in Japanese. This guy really be sunning everybody out here in the world. Like, this guy actually is like, the ideal. Lashar is so cool, genuinely. But talking about the gameplay as well, I think he has been one of the big innovators for Ed alongside of the rest of the world. I feel like him, like Ending Walker, Momochi, you name it. I think overall now, he has set himself ahead of the pack. Just seeing him here on the stage. I'm kind of curious to see what the matchup is going to be like, what the tone's going to be like for Pugera. As you can see, Gotchi-kun kind of like prepping him before the match. I think DJ does have a pretty significantly good time dealing with like the fireball game and setting the pace off of that. Defensively, I do get a little bit nervous outside of drive gauge expenditure. I think Ed having DJ in burnout is such a big deal. Hell, Ed having anybody in burnout is such a significant factor, especially with like the flicker pressure that Lashar can continuously enforce, and he's already done so and proven that he can do it pretty damn well against the entirety of Japan. So my biggest issue is two things. Will Pugera be able to stave himself away from being burnt out early by Lashar? And two, will Lashar fall susceptible towards the pacing that Pugera presents with both the fireball game, sway forward? I think sway forward also is low-key kind of tricky if you read a flicker, because it does have that projectile invincibility on his upper body. So we'll see. I think there's a lot that's going to be considered, but those are the two main factors that I'm going to be looking forward to for this set.
In addition to those, I want to see the drive rush pressure that's presented, and if Pugera can earn his way in. I know that sounds kind of wild with DJ, him having the fastest drive rush in the business, but watching Lashar acclimate to how Ed is now and how he's been able to, at certain ranges, choose certain buttons to check drive rush, crouching light kick maybe a little bit closer, stand jab a little bit further, doesn't convert until he feels like he's ready to convert into something significant, even using stand medium kick sometimes as well. I'm curious to see if Pugera is going to be able to be allowed to get in that fashion, or if Lashar's going to be able to check and challenge the drive rush so continuously. It doesn't happen. Obviously, Fireball's going to be a part of that, the fake out too as well, put some mental stack on, and the aerial approach as well. But Lashar also positions himself where it's hard to actually jump in on Lashar. Like, he's usually backing away, he'll walk underneath predictively, and I guess obviously reactively at the same time. So I don't think it'll be so easy to hit that knee shot so continuously unless you're dead close and you've already earned the right to get in that close. So I think you're right in terms of like the drive gauge management. Also, I want to see how good Pugera is with that. Like, yes, the character got more meter management combos that are less meter used, and some meter less combos used as well that you can go for, and maybe spin level 1 instead of like spinning more drive gauge. But in terms of like his damage output's lessened a little bit, so your routing's a little bit different. What you're going for might be a little bit different too as well. When you spin OD Fireball at this high level, you can get burnt out quicker than you might think. Fudo is one of the best at doing so, but we'll see if Pugera has that same sort of sauce. Pugera, Lashar, ending our first set of matches.
It on the anchor match between the two. Pugera representing good 8 squad. Lashar with Yogi-Bo reject. Oh, he walked out a mile and Lashar still tried to reach. Oh, the confirm from down below.
That's the drive rush up, strike throw. We go for the crouching medium punch. Lashar blocks it out. Flip it up in the corner. It punishes the crouch fears. That shimmy tool getting dealt with, and the kidney killer with the back throw. Caught the play. You really thought.
Oh, the uppercut. Now the burnout has happened. Not too much life. Actually, this is pretty important. Oh, I was going to say Pugera, he might be able to set the tone with the fireballs from full 3/4 of the screen, perhaps, but he wanted it. I guess he wanted to really enforce a closer match against Lashar instead of trying to chip away.
We thought Lashar would be afraid of that level 2 possibly, but I don't think he's going to expend that like that. Either way, where do we go? Double dash up, by reversal, on the wake up, the fake up the fireballs. That same sort of style. Gets the target combo. Kill rush in, sway play, punish counter. Tries to go for the throw, ODDP, lets it rip. Oh.
Well, they're swinging with their haymakers. It's crazy. A lot of fierce is being represented from the side of Pugera. Lashar backing away, finding his opportunity to get the corner switch. I like that too. From the OD flicker, that is a great way to utilize that meter to force the opponent to come to you. Perfect parry.
Safe setup to kill the drive gauge. Knocking over those jabs. He breaks the throw. He backs up, avoids the flicker. Sway, but no counter. That's a counter, but too far from the crouching medium punch. This man sends out the super. String him up. It's not enough. It's not enough. ODDP. What else can you do? Man.
We gotta dial it in. We got the keyboard and everything.
Distance it felt like. How prepared he is at every point in the map is speaking to the quality of a player that he is. That fake out fireball, trying to pull with that mental stack with the perfect parries there. Lashar gets a fat jump and a punish counter. Cycle blitz with a knockdown. He's in with the Oki. Medium stand, medium punch card, press the button when he should. Delays the stand fears. Getting into him.
Damage combo, but it does allow Pugera to one get some drive gates to him and at least push back Lashar for a favorable position. Drivers forward, doesn't take the throw. Doesn't really need to. He can take a couple of more if need be, but too much would be a little bit problematic.
Get up for the damage, get over the jabs, backs off, drive rushes right back in, but the trade lets him win. Lashar stay patient and proper up in the corner. It's around.
Again, whipping that crouch medium punch, whether to go Lashar on into pressing a button, I don't think he even had like enough resources to even manage that trade. Like, just the idea of trying to trade a frame trap is so difficult without the life behind it. Level 3 currently sitting from the side of Lashar. A single hit will do it. He just happens to catch it. That Soulbot was a little bit too close. Light punish into the full string up. Level 3. Again, we gotta resort to Google, man. We got the keyboard on the screen. How do I beat Ed? Pugera? Do I switch characters? Send help.
What tier is Ed right now, currently? That's what he needs to be Googling. I mean, honestly, though, Lashar is just too pristine. That guy was ready for a punish, way in the proper distance. I feel like he's almost like, I don't want to say he's like taunting him. He's just inviting these mistakes to happen. Pugera, even more so in the back foot, even though we saw him have the positioning to trap Lashar up in the corner, it did not matter. Like, Lashar looked like he was like, hey man, I'll take that crouching medium punch combo, that's cool. Go back to neutral and I'll take that trade right after. The interruption against the forward medium kick was gosh dang amazing. Just the way that Lashar plays, he's ready for everything. He has the proper buttons ready for whatever needs to come next. Just the way he plays Ed it makes me think the character is still insane and the character is still good. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care what Ed players say. I don't care what any of y'all say. If he's playing like that, this character can still cook. Ed's still fine. All right? Just putting that out there. Sorry. Anyway, Lashar's good.
Lashar is more than good, brother. He is elite. This guy is cooking up so much specific tech with Ed towards whatever target he lands on, right? Him cooking up stuff against Pugera the way he wants to play, already nullified twice over. You even have the replays coming in from the side of Tokido and the camp to dissect what went right and what went wrong to ensure the safety of these points, right? Lashar is going nowhere right now. He's got 2 games to his name. It really is right now up to Pugera to decide whether or not he wants to stick it out with DJ, 1, and then 2, what to do against the wall of Lashar, because he is looking like an immovable force.
It's one of those moments where I feel like, and this is beyond even the character, like you are just getting cooked up by Lashar. He's feeling way too confident in the neutral, confident playing out these buttons. Your buttons are getting checked and challenged continuously. There's a little lag time on that forward medium kick. It's like 20 frames plus startup, I think, on that. But regardless, for Lashar to be so prepped and prepared against those buttons, the drive rushes and things like that, to take trades when need be, and to get a perfect at the very end, this is beyond. It's like you need to correct things on what you're doing for your game plan and how you're fighting Lashar. Then the character can come right after. I think he's going back in with the DJ. It might seem, hold on now. No, he selected DJ. It's in the DJ. So he's ready to die. The DJ play for the possible final game. Well, Lashar's playing, it might be.
Round 1. Fight.
Hopefully we can get a change of pace, right? Good 8 squad. They started off with a 20 baller thus far. We might find ourselves in a position to get into a tiebreaker scenario for those extra 5, perhaps. I don't know if that's going to be like in play. It's either that or we just accumulate the points, 20 to 20, and then move on to the next set. But we'll find out in just a bit. Lashar, again, already going to work. He's putting Pugera in the corner, nearly below 50%. His drive gauge is healthy. He's got 1 bar. Everything looking great for Lashar.
Driver's throw. And once again, the backdash. Very clutch to avoid the throw. Still needs to find a way out, though. For a punish counter, we'd like to get a side switch conversion with the OD. OD fireball, off the forward medium kick for the plus frames. Lashar holding parry to keep his bar up as much as possible. Pulling close for the strike, no throw, though. Come here. Gonna go with the jabs, delay. Still blocks out the crouch pierce. Lashar still confident right now. You can see it. Perfect parry every single fireball, it feels. Knocking those away with confidence. Kara cannot find a way in. The walk-up crouching light kick. Odin fireball, holds parry against it. Perfect parry again.
Man, Lashar is swinging for the fences. Pugera is just so reluctant to even try to snipe those out, and the forward throw down to 16 seconds, and still back into the spot where Pugera was ever so dominant, that is in the corner. Pugera has not found a solid answer thus far. He held on for quite a bit. I will give him that. But it didn't lead to the W he was asking for. Pugera again, Lashar again, trying to drive on in there, creating that pressure, creating those tense moments within the mid-range space. To goading Pugera into pressing the wrong buttons, perhaps. Counter hit. Back to back throws. Give me a third. This is where you press the buttons now.
For you. Alright, but able to get the crouching medium punch in between the string. Drop the elbow move to the level 3. Immediately has to get some bar back. ASAP. Level 2 might have been good to get the side switch, but he wants the damage. He wants as much bar back as possible. Lashar still looking really good. On the drive rush, gets back thrown with a kidney killer. And we're touching level 3, goes to level 2. Either you drive reversal, you had to do it, but now you're in burnout. With punish, and Lashar finds success to put Pugera to rest, 3-0. Wow.
I cannot imagine what that input could have been from Pugera throwing out the forward median kick. I have no business trying to even call or assume what the idea was behind Pugera's forward medium kick. That sunrise heel was from out of left field, genuinely.
This guy, Lashar, though, has been sniping at the proper distance after a drive rush, find the proper hit after like a crouching medium kick, stand medium kick, whatever it may be, right at the tip of the drive rush. He's mastered this character. You saw it right there. Even the secret pick of the DJ did nothing to Lashar. However, it is tied up 20-20. So I do have to note there that Good 8 Squad had a good start, but it was all stopped by the Golden Finger himself.
We're not going to necessarily get the tiebreaker. I don't think that's going to be in play. I don't think we even had that over in playoffs. So this is what it's going to come down to. It is a tie ball game between the two. And I got to say, man, this is a lot of information to digest because of the fact that Yogibo Reject is now going to be switching over to the away side, right? Lashar, albeit having 3 solid games straight against Pugera, what do you do now for Good 8 Squad to counter that, right? I think Kawano and Gachikun already did a good job of taking care of half of the roster. Now they're in fear of the other half, which is Lashar and potentially Torimeshi, but after all we've seen throughout the season, I don't think Torimeshi would be involved, at least on the away side of things. If anything, we'll see Dawson way more in Street Fighter Duel than we will see in today's playoffs in Grand Finals. That is for certain. And what's cool about that is you get so many different aesthetics from the side of Dawson. He's got so many different outfits and moves, actually, that they've given him in Street Fighter Duel. It's been a really, really grand time. I actually started picking it up again little by little. I've left off from so far back, but it's been cool kind of just like going through my dailies, kind of clearing the story out, and also getting all the free like gems that you get for unlocking all the goodies. And speaking of goodies, we have so much stuff coming out from these collaborations that Sincola had mentioned prior. I'm low-key trying to get these socks. I want the black ankle socks, but if they're like high-end 2 socks, I'm super down for that, right? With some of the stitching involved, like, listen, I love myself some high-quality stitching. If I can get the different variations of the Street Fighter logo, color me happy, bro. I would be down to rock that any day of the week with a nice pair of Chucks, or even some Nikes for that. But all of that said and established, I gotta say, man, it's been a really, really fun time to see all this cool stuff, because even if I don't wear it, I can take it back and give it to my parents. My parents definitely rock so much of my like extra gear that I get from like all the Street Fighter stuff that we've collected over the years.
Word, even like the hoodie right here, because that one looks really good too as well. With the food, I mean, all these collabs have been super sick, bro. Every time they show a food thing, I want to try it. It's got to have like a different flavor, I'm sure, per character. I'm not sure. What I'm sure is that we are seeing, again, that combination with Street Fighter in the outside world. And it's just great to see more collabs come through and support the scene, support Street Fighter. As you said in the chat right there, this classic hoodie is godlike. Man, just kept selecting in the back. I'd like to see that. Can we get one of those? Can you save one of those production, please?
What is this graphic in the middle? Is that a mouse pad? If that's a mouse pad, I'm a big sucker for like all of the old school graphics. Like you get what, Ryu and Honda throwing barrels at each other? You had Akuma on the right. Is this my man Sajam? Hold up. Hold up. This is a very, very special occasion, by the way. We have the Reject Fight Night group going up against the Sajam Slam crew for the International Championships of Sajam Slam, happening right after Capcom Cup, by the way. It's going to be happening the week after Capcom Cup, live in Japan, with the top 2 teams from both camps facing off against each other. You don't want to miss it. Really exciting times. We've already done. Let's get into the next one right after this. When we come back, we got more of that Street Fighter League Japan action coming right at you.
夢と現実が一つになる。モンスターハンターブリッジ。
of matches this is. The final bout between Good 8 Squad and Yogibo Reject. We are tied at 20-20. So this is going to be a really, really tough one to call. My name is Vicious here with St. Cola to kind of figure out what's going to come up next, right? Yogibo Reject is now going to be faced with a pretty significant problem, being on the away side and susceptible to the counter picks. However, Good 8 Squad, with as strong as they were out the gate, fell apart at the very, very end, but not without any good reason. I feel like Pugera really trying to flexercise that DJ was a good attempt early on. I think going forward, however, he might be a little bit more of a threat now that that data is collected and he has numerous characters under his belt, including both Bison and Jury. With that in mind, Senkola, how are you feeling now that Yogibo Reject is going to be on the back foot?
Let me see the order first. Feel really good, actually. Okay, Mosey set up no sim. They're doing great. All right, you got the cam, you got the Ken, you got the end at the very end. Now, that being said, there could be the counterplay, the secret weapon sim from the other side of things from Good 8 Squad to fight Lashar. On the reverse of that, though, I saw Lashar fighting some sim, being able to whip punish buttons with like crouching light kick and having a game plan for that. So I'm sure he's ready, prepared, Wachimochi, to step up to the bat for the anchor position. But I think this order overall is pretty good. Like, you're going to have to put up Ed eventually. And if Lashar is that good in the anchor position, it's going to be hard to keep him away, even if there is a counter pick. You feel me?
Yeah, I think that's pretty much in line with what I was thinking of as well. I think this is the exact order, not exact order per se, but this is the exact roster that they would want anyway. I think being susceptible with a Dawson pick is only going to cause you to lose points in more cases than not. It's not to say that, it's not to take away from Tori Meshi and say he's not capable, but let's face the facts. I feel like Dawson would considerably struggle with who is on the roster of Good 8 Squad. And that's not to take away light from Tori Meshi. I'm sure he could take down each one of these guys individually, but in terms of risk reward factor, I would want to keep it consistent with the current roster that we have right now. So they thought about that from playoff day 2, right? Akira, Tokido, and Lashar. So it's gonna be Pugera starting things off first with DJ against the candidate pick. Now, this is also a secondary pick that some of the commentators have talked about during Hameko's choice, and it's also something that you chimed in on. Now, I know you've been playing DJ, or at least have maybe transitioned over to Akuma. I'm not too sure exactly, but I know that you've had a firm understanding of like DJs. What is it about like this pick that Good 8 Squad was like, you know what, I'm comfortable enough and confident enough in Pugera to face off against the Kami matchup specifically?
There are two things I feel like that are really good for DJ. He can anti-air effectively with that heavy kick. He can do so with the DP that reaches so high in the sky now. They've made it a lot better than what it used to be, or at least in the Season 2 nerfs. They kind of reverted some of those so it makes sure it hits high enough, so it's a good anti-air. It's not a good button again, or not a good like, a reversal button. And also, it feels like if they do a bad dive kick, you can sweep that from the proper distance if you're prepped and prepared. I feel like it's really good against like characters that try to dive kick in the wrong sort of way. You have many ways to punish that with like lurching buttons like Stand Fierce and things like that. Also, you can throw out fireballs a little bit easier because you can fake things out. You have to fake out to put some of that mental stack on. You can throw out the other sorts of fireballs a little bit easier because of that. For other characters, you kind of just throw out fireballs the similar pacing at least, but she has to be worried about you faking that out and then you block it out or neutral jump, whatever it may be. So I think DJ is a very good pick against Kami.
Yeah, I always forget about like actually doing the sweep, like the roundhouse sweep, and how like the startup is pretty. You just call him out. He's like, pay attention to me, man. That was pretty funny. What was I saying? I think, you know, like the long startup with the sweep of the actual like crouching roundhouse from DJ is a pretty significant tool to face off against like a dive kick character too. So there are plenty of tools to combat against Kami's air approach, which I like that you highlighted that. The overall damage output could be a little bit problematic for someone like Akira, who has been very antsy on defense, right? We've seen him opt to go for drive gauge expenditure. He's done OD uppercut a few times. He's actually done wake up jump dive kick, OD dive kick at that as well. So I think Pugera, I think with the damage output that DJ does have, is looking forward to punishing fat against those types of tactics. So I could see why when Good 8 Squad decided to put Pugera up, it's not just like something DJ could possibly get over Kami with an advantage, but also I think player-wise, I think Pugera has enough patience and enough like observational skills to sniff out when Akira would do something crazy.
You're right. The reward is a really big thing. You know, they tone down the damage a little bit, but it's still DJ. It's still dump it out compared to other characters. It's still very high. Speaking about the matchup, Akira says, I don't like this matchup. I had this matchup in my mind, and I made ready for this game, but Bugera's DJ is really strong. I'll do my best to get another win. Bugera says, I lost badly the first game, but I have my moves fixed. I'll win against Akira. And I think it's one of those things where him saying he got his moves fixed is like, okay, now I understand how to play DJ at this high level. I got warmed up. I'm ready. And he's not fighting like someone like Lashar. You're fighting a different sort of character. As you mentioned, the mistakes are going to be even more magnified. If DJ blocks out an ODDP, it's going to be the end of you. And also, on top of all that, DJ kills a lot of drive gauge. His fireball pressure, you can do it with the OD. Fireballs up in the corner, so you have to be even better about your meter management as the opponent on the reverse of things. So Akira has to be careful about spinning that ODDP because it's like, okay, I spin a few bars here. I'm worry about the future.
盟友2人の対決果たして何が起きるのかプゲラ DJ に対してアキラは何を見せるこれが2巡目先鋒戦アキラキャミ対するはプゲラ DJ いってみましょう
I love it. Here we go. Game number 1 in the reset. The side switch between the two teams. Yogibo Reject now on the late side. Akira being subject to possible counterpick. Jera, can he make the big adjustments from how he played in the other spot? We'll find out.
Sway play coming through, killing that drive gauge. Same with Akira trying to initiate with the drive rush fierce. Garrison with the medium, ends it with the jackknife, double dashes up. Almost done with the crouch fierce. Nice interruption, gets a counter it. The Oki.
Ooh! Love the Sobot! Happy little accident to get the forward throw as well. And you see that already, Bugera taking it over. A lot of damage incoming. Level 1. So I think you noticed Bugera had done a drive rush to go into Sway, to go Akira into possibly doing something very, very dangerous. Akira was 2 steps ahead, right? He hasn't done anything super wild thus far to throw Bugera off. And I'm loving this.
Now he knows how punishing that crouch fierce can be. Upper distance to get that dot kick against it. Drive rush jab, starts it off. Strike throw. Interruption with the medium. He thought if was coming through to counteract that. Bugera went for the medium. Steps and steps ahead right now in this match. Level 3, get your bar back. Put him on the back foot. Picked up and get damage here. Built the red assault. One more touch.
Nice and easy. Akira with a huge sigh of relief and immediately coming forward is Torpedo with the iPad and the notes. I gotta say, man, Bugera has not really shown off the type of play style that we're expecting from him in terms of like how smothering he can be and how much of a threat he can be also with like the neutral game. Thus far, we're seeing only a fraction of Bugera's full power, respectively.
Akira doing the smothering right now. They try rush jabs, find the proper entry points. I think there's not been like that fireball game established where you're fearful of that and the neutral kind of disrupts the rhythm that Kami wants to do. And the dodge too. They've been flying kind of free right now. Crouch fierce, resets the pressure with the driver, shouldn't have the proper conversion. The distance was a little too far. Akira's right back in. One more round to get the win and get a 2-0 finish once again. This time we switch it up for Yogi Ball.
That was huge. There was a punish counter against the attempted flash parry from the side of Akira. Now Bugera does have a slight life lead, but when it comes to keeping it, I don't know if he'll be able to sustain. Dude, Akira's still pressing a button. You know, this is wild. Bugera has been really looking forward to big punishes against Akira and some of his rash decision making from what we saw in the previous game, but Akira is not giving him any quarter. I think like his decisions to press buttons like crouch attack. Dude, stealing turns? Come on, bro. We were just talking about how sturdy you've been playing. The big jump.
Whoa. Not a drop.
You had the opportunity to go into level 3 and you dropped it. There was the parry. I'd imagine he missed time. Obviously, he missed time the drive was canceled. That is so critical against Akira. Gee, what a time to drop. Also, the big recovery. We'll spend it now.
Oh yeah, get that bar back and then some. This is gonna be because you know DJ with level 3 in the last round would be great, but no bar to his name up in the corner. Your only reversal is that DP. Walk up back throw though. Pushes positions. Drive crouch Fierce trying to find a home. Drive impact not clipping a limb. Drive rush jab. He's in for the strike though. This time he goes for the strike. Oh, the whip push is off the soapbox at the very tip. Okay, charge up.
Ooh. And then the swing gets interrupted. I'm telling you, man. I just said it. Really scary positioning for Bulgaria to even try to do either a Sobot or a swing. Akira knew it. Being able to interrupt correctly with a very long-reaching limb. And very active, too. Really great assessment from the side of Akira, both in terms of activity on offense and also what he chose to do on defense. His button choices, whether it was like regular jab or waking up with buttons, and him not going for something crazy like an OD uppercut, really threw Bulgaria off guard, I gotta say, man. And that crouching medium kick towards the end, although it being, what, 8-frame startup and only having 3 active frames, my man, it felt like it was active forever to catch that swing. Really well placed from Akira.
Even before he came back from repositioning himself out of the sway, the crushing kick was able to hit. And Akira, again, the timing, the ODD piece was picture perfect. When it did come out, it came out when Bulgaria was so much on the back foot, so frustrated, that it made it worse for Bulgaria right after. And that level 3 expenditure, yeah, that landed Bulgaria the victory, but he had no bar to fight back with his name, and land that big boy damage. He didn't even get access to that big boy damage, and the DJ not really working out thus far. I feel like, if anything, Akira was the one that fixed his things with his character, and now we move on to this next match. Who do you send up?
Against Tokido's Ken, I like Kawano again. But it's Gachikun coming up next, so that's gotta... Okay, I'm thinking to myself... Okay, this is tough. All right, so I would have thought Kawano, just based off of the 2 games straight that he's had against Tokido.
Yeah.
Gachikun stepping up to the plate also makes me think that they might put out YHC Mochi for the anchor match.
I feel like they have to. But it is wild to see Gachikun go up against Tokido. I feel like when it was so dominant, he has such a good game plan against the way that Tokido wants to play. He stopped the whole dissecting thing from happening. He was like, you're not gathering data on me. I'm gonna put you with fireballs. You won't get in for free at all. Like, you don't have to expend drive gauge, perfect parry, and even when you do so, you're wasting bar. Tokido says, so it's time for this. Let's do it. That's a pretty cool statement right there as both of them go and get set up for the sticks. I'm surprised to see Gachikun go up, but I want to see how the defensive style works out against Tokido. I guess he wants to get in, see what you're about, and then cook you from there, right? Gachikun says, we don't need to talk. We don't need talking for this matchup. Let's just go. Dang, they are hungry to play. I like this.
That's pretty cool.
Wow.
I was looking it up. I think they said Yarimas or Yarimaska or one of the 2 variations perhaps, but I like how they went back and forth with each other, kind of like to say that. It's pretty funny. I think it's cool to see like the personalities kind of line up between the 2 and see like the competitiveness between the 2 as well. I think it's really, really neat. But this is a really great matchup to behold. I don't know what the overall standing right now between Tokido and Gachikun is, but I kind of don't mind Rashid facing off against Ken. I think he's got a lot of value on both offense and defense to kind of force some really critical errors. I mean, we talk about one of the main things when we talk about in terms of the meta is how often can a character survive like throw loops, how often can a character get away with like doing ODDPs and using their supers as a reversal to kind of throw the other person on edge. Both of those characters can easily do that, right? Throwing that out the way. But in terms of like potential value or like potential like damage value, I honestly think that Rashid might have just a tad bit more, just based off of the utility that he has from his level 2. I think Enhanced Whirlwind 2 and the mixed potential that he has can do so much more damage whereas Ken's feels a little bit linear. Albeit, even if it's linear, it's still very damaging and very hard to get out of. But there isn't as much to think of in regards to like a Rashid, right?
Also for defense, Rashid has the ability to TK wake up live kick. You know, that's been something I've seen JB and the likes do against these these kids go for the throws continuously. So that is an option. You have to worry about on wake up. Now, like heavy punish if it's blocked out. You got to be careful, but proper reads yield success.
I was thinking about it. I'm like, dude, I wish he had eagle spike in the air like that. But yeah, no, the Arabian Sky High is actually a pretty significant deal to get himself out of like throw loops, or potentially those, right? Oh, no whip punish on the Swede. We talked about how good Gatsuku's defense has been thus far in terms of sniping out some of the long-range limbs. But damn, dude, there is an objective, there is an agenda right now from Tokido, and it is deplete the drive gauge. Back throw catches Gatsuku.
A lot of room to breathe here. One for Rashid. Playing the butts ever so often. Raging Cyclone doesn't commit. That's a stand light kick, but nothing big after it. Otatsu, at the very minimum. But Tokido's fine to harass with these buttons. The stop sign, stand fierce, fist to face, up in the corner space. Prevents Gatsuku from leaving not only in the east side, but also the west side. First round, Tokido.
Very, very lucky opportunity there for Tokido. Now Gatsuku returning the favor. Level 2 pretty early. Let's see what the defense is like. You have the parry, the pretty significant tech, and you know what? Not too much damage incurred. Totally fine. The Gatsuku, this is the... Oh no! You saw the startup with the mixer. Get completely stuffed out. Somewhere Big Bird is fine.
Cool Captain 2. Jump fierce, this time we perfect parry. We punish right after. Oh, do you get the side switch? Cyclone.
I like that.
Rushing medium punch right after.
I love that sequencing too, to get that extra mileage off of the corner carry, but also set yourself up for a safe shot mix.
Throw. Roll the jab. Swap the throw right after. Timing's a little bit off right now. It's hard for Gatsuku to read as he gets another toss towards victory. Tokido again, he just set himself up for success. Jab, jab, a little bit, delay, and then dash a throw when you least expect. He's playing around you as a player more so than the character gives half the damn time.
Very well time to jump in. You get the knockdown as well, being able to get the rest of the spinning mixer combo. Medium crouching medium punch leading into a gang of damage, spending the drive bait for the extension. We get the spinning mixer yet again, but now we get the mix from the Cyclone. Back-to-back throws, do it again. Oh, the uppercut, you had to do it. Tokido was on his last limbs too. He couldn't take that throw, but burnout might be a threat. The jump back, the defense, the activity from Tokido.
So tap puts him in burnout. Tokido's got more drive gauge to play with, but it's a one-touch scenario here. Gatsuku looking for the overhead to clip a crouching medium kick. Walks up the Jinrai, turns back with the Arabian Cyclone, but the trade in favor of Gatsuku. Willing to take that any day of the week. Held in the bank for that one.
Yeah, Gatsuku is really tantalizing that medium range. Right? He's been going back and forth between that crouching position to see if Tokido would fight just outside of the range, and he does so eventually. Exactly what Gatsuku was trying to get.
He ripped. That was punishable even more so this season. Big fall, put that throw right after. To space. Go for an OD fireball to activate. Maybe he'll just look for a level 3 sequence. Just depends on what he's looking for here. Overhead. Not touching anything. Ah, whips a stand fierce. To the corner we go. Hands Tatsu. Avoiding that crouching mid kick shimmy. I like that from Tokido. Wait for him to come down. He does. Hits it with the crouching mid kick. We talked about that deep game. Dive kick. Triple Jinrai will let that fly. Damn.
Exact strategy, playing more so in favor of Tokido. Ready as ever. Big punish counter after the low medium kick, and it's so big because of the momentum that he gets. The damage also. It all just comes crumbling down, I feel like, sometimes when you're stuck in this corner. It feels so hopeless, but that's good. We talk about him having good defense for a reason. Forcing the Tokido to back off a little bit. This is what he needs to get started. Sky high, a couple of lights.
Right
Yes, sir.
Right, ODDP. But that's better here for Tokido. Not too bad. I mean, he's way better in bar right now. And now you're in burnout. That DP took too much. Jinrai right after. Put 2 in burnout. This is what Tokido wants. Level 1 undefeated. You're able to bust out. So OD Fireball, Drive Rush Fierce. What are we going for here, Tokido? OD Fireball, wake up super, not hit.
No way.
You're from that distance.
I didn't, so that was one of the options I was just about to say. OD Fireball actually incurs death. That actually is going to be a big thing to take note. But yeah, Tokido opted to go for that instead of trying to go for like a Drive Rush fake or even like a Drive Rush button. That was going to be the only option that would kill you. Going for the OD Fireball with plenty of time to react to it, I actually can't believe he went for that option. Critical Art was on deck for a while from the side of Gachikun.
I didn't think I was going to actually reach with that distance. My mistake. OD Fireball will be fine. I was with Tokido. I was like, yeah, man, at this distance, you're cool to throw it. But those hands are extended compared to other characters that throw out fireballs. And that range on level 3, all those things combined got him the victory. You're right. Damn, my bad. I would have been out with Tokido also.
I would imagine too, like mid-screen, I don't even think there's that much spacing between like Ken and Rashid as he lands either. So I'm very, very surprised and shocked that he went for the OD Fireball in that instance. But lesson learned, honestly, I think Tokido is still in such strong shape. Like before that situation had even shown up, you're talking about like the positioning that Tokido had. You're talking about the life lead and him having the momentum. I think outside of that slight error in decision making and that slight tunnel vision in terms of what meter was presented from the side of Gachikun, I think he has such a strong showing right now against Gachikun. This last game could be the exact push that Gachikun needs, man, to be honest with you. Otherwise, that would have been 2 games straight.
Would have been. Honestly, it's one of those things where he can confer with his team and say, at least his team could say, hey man, you went for ODDP and you got close to burnout and then he burnt you out right after. Be careful of those things because Tokido's looking for that. That's been an option since Angry Bird and many other Ken players have used that to kind of bait out the bar. You'll take the ODDP as long as you are heavier in the drive gauge department and then going right after to kill the rest of the drive gauge. I'm with you in terms of being surprised that he went for the OD Fireball. Beyond that, he's been picking apart Gachikun with these jabs, so like jab, wait a little bit, then dash up, throw. We've seen that counter hit come up continuously. He's catching the defensive timings of Gachikun, which takes a lot of work. Gachikun is a very defensive player. He understands when to press buttons, when not to press buttons. So for him to be caught like this shows signs that Tokido knows how to dissect him. Now, it's just not making critical mistakes. Don't the OD Fireball get hit with that critical art.
See what the changeup is going forward now between the two. I mean, again, Tokido has had such a dominating performance thus far against Gachikun up until that very, very small error. Very significantly small. Well, small yet significant error, excuse me. I was going to say significantly small, but that was actually disastrous. But I'm not too phased out, I feel like, by the way that Tokido's been performing. It's just a matter of consistency. He is definitely the one who's been showing that off right now. Crouching heavy punch now coming into play from the side of Gachikun from further distances, and I like that too. That's something he hasn't really shown off. He's shown off a lot of overheads thus far. He's been willing to throw the fireball game, but primarily he's been hovering around this range for whiff punishes.
Coming through from Tokido, finds a stand fierce, striking left side switch. Whip punish against that stand fierce. He's had enough of that button. And it makes sense. It's been leading to the corner. Access of damage. Back to mid-spin we go. Walking low. We saw before he has been able to clip that walk back continuously.
A lot of missed opportunities from Tokido to get some of these big whiff punishes against some of the longer normals. Right? We had medium kicks flare out from the side of Gachikun, even a fierce, but that one is a little bit further out, so I don't blame him. But now, what do you do? Oh, just at the tip of that block. Exposure, nothing big of it. I think that's one of the biggest things from Rashid, right? Even getting some of these hit confirms off of lows, you have to commit to like maybe a drive rush. Yeah, just like that.
Nice and close with a crouching light kick. It's a little bit faster when you're closer. Backdash on level 2, you know what to do. You saw her coming through the win condition. Tokido not a lot of help to give. Holds a drive impact. Look at that. Heavy mixer for the finish.
Round 2.
Kept it pretty simple. And I like the way he layered that too. Kept it very ambiguous with the drive impact attempt. I don't even think there was a lot that Tokido would have been able to do because of the whirlwind just being in front of him. Level 1, and you get the side switch. Fireball. No, it's dash up and stop Gatsuku from waking up with dash up. What a read from Tokido.
Way different for him now. He used to stand medium kick, a little bit more distance on it from like Fireball. Nice setup for success. The drive impact. So I'm gonna get my link back. Tokido. Final game fun around with Gatsuku. Switching from the wake up here. Driver's throw. On tap and parry. See that parry attempt continuously from Gatsuku. Trying to go for it against the Dragon Lash. Doesn't get it. Excuse me. Deep for the jump fears. Oh, level 3 incoming. Won't kill, but it will put him on damn near death door. One more interaction with the drive gauge behind it. A lot to work with for Tokido.
Wow. Stellar dissection from the dissector, as you had mentioned. Tokido is looking so extravagant right now in that matchup specifically. A really big change in comparison to what we saw while he was on the home side not too long ago, taking that the double loss, actually, I should say, against Kawano. What a big showing. But again, I honestly think this is just like information being fed towards Good 8 Squad right now, right? I think so long as there's games to play, they're going to find out what needs to be done and make those adjustments. But I'm loving this either way from the side of Yogibo Reject. It's like, you know what? If you want to keep giving up these points, we'll gladly take it. We'll gladly take this lead and continue on with our momentum. Ooh,
Wait. What?
Yeah, you heard that correctly. That is going to be Kawano with Akuma. We're not going to see any of the Dawsums coming into play.
You know, watching Lashar play against the Sims, it's not like it was picture perfect, but he had a game plan against that character. But watching him fight Akumas, he eats them for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and has a dessert with them too as well. He is so adapted at dealing with them if they try to go to the air. He walks underneath, he jabs them away off the Demon Ray play. It's even worse this season because you can't really get like a side switch and get Oki off it anymore. I feel like he has been so solid in the regulation play, and then outside of Street Fighter, we don't really talk about that too much. But he is so good against Akuma players that it's kind of crazy to see that Kawano wants to go up and fight him. Well, Lashar says Kawano was a really good player. I've practiced a lot this season, but today I'll win.
Very standard, man. Exact type of energy that we've had in the previous matchup between Tokido and Gatsuku, right? Tokido had actually mentioned, he's like, you know what? It's time. Let's do this thing. And Gatsuku, we don't need talking for this matchup. That's pretty good. But yeah, I mean, Lashar and Kawano have been really setting the bar a lot. I think Kawano, we talked about him being like the golden child, I feel like, for his era. I think he's set the bar up so high for all of the rookies that have come in from SF5 and transcended into professional gameplay, I guess, professional Street Fighter 6 players into this current era. I think he's really stepped it up. But Lashar, I gotta admit, man, Lashar has been more so in the realm of other fighting games for so long, and him transitioning over to Street Fighter was a blessing and a curse. It's a blessing because we get to see generational talent like this show up on the big stage, but it's also a curse if you're on the opposite end of that setup, right? All of these players have fallen short and fallen victim to that golden finger, but it also is like keeping everybody else really, really hungry. This guy is truly like a fighting game genius, in my opinion.
I've seen people inside and outside the league be like, I don't want to fight Lashar. Whatever it takes, I do not want to see him in my path. No matter who it is. I've seen top-level players say this continuously, inside and out. None of them want to fight this guy. He is just a machine. Pristine and clean. And now I feel like he has a little bit of that human element where he kind of, I don't want to say gets cocky, but he plays around the person and invites him to have these mistakes. We've seen with the DJ. We are getting some words here from Kawano, or we did get some words, I should say. Lashar is a player we can't understand in modern Street Fighter tactics, but I'll win here to get some bits of info. Do you see what I mean and what vicious means? Even the players here are like, we don't get him and why he's so good. It doesn't make sense.
さあ準備 OK。
That's wild. That is such a
That's insane.
we were definitely, or I was at least definitely expecting a very standard response from Kawano, like, I'm ready for the match, I'm ready to win, something like that, right?
さあ
But
負
him
けられない戦
being
い。
transparent like that, Lashar is a player we cannot understand in modern Street Fighter tactics. That
さあ
is
一体何を
crazy.
用意してきた
That
の
is
か。
so sick, right? Like, this is how
見ていきましょ
impactful
う。
Lashar has
これが
been
二巡目対象戦。レシャー
in not only the
の
league, but
対する
Japan.
動き。いってみましょう。
All right, Kawano cooks something up a little bit different. Level 2 fireball, able to get that knockdown. I'd like to see more ground and play here. Lashar is so effective at dealing with the aerial approach, even with characters can be kind of ambiguous. Baits out the ODDP, adamant fist, crouch fierce, OD. Gets the wall splat, the fireball, Tatsu right after that. Heavy addition.
The destruction from Kawano with a level 1. Spending that level 1 also. Sorry, the perfect instead of the first round. Hello, English just... What just happened in my brain? I was so jumbled up by what just happened, I couldn't even construct the sentence correctly. But man, Kawano with the perfect to start things off, spending that level 1 is exactly what I wanted to say. And looking to repeat history, already enforcing the point, pushing the chart to the corner. What do you do to stop this?
All right, the shimmy. Variance of the fireballs is causing a little bit of a problem here for Lashar. As I say that, the flicker knockdown. Drive impact, too many fireballs, flying too often. Lands the corner carry off the heavy Tatsu. Double dashes up, the bait out the stand fierce. Nobody home just yet.
Oh,
No way you got
prepared for that. What a beast. That was such a delayed adamant fist too.
Talked about this, guys ready to check the challenge drive rush or any sort of advance, any sort of button or special with that stand meter kick when other characters, other players are doing it.
Oh, that's
Whips
so
up,
hard
I
to
dare you.
test, dude. You can't even throw a fire. Oh my god, doesn't need it. Level 3 is incoming. That is insane. One, the patience coming off from Kawano. One, two, the timing to throw out that fierce and also confirm afterwards. You've got to be kidding me. I honestly think he is that confirm into the drive rush cancel. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Kawano said, I get it. I understand it now. More ground and play actually is a benefit I hear with the fireballs. Been working out, but for him to have that control up in the corner where it looks like it was lights out. This forces Lashar to get a little more active on the round start. Knocked down with the cycle blitz. Perfect parry. The punish right after. My favorite book. Do whatever it takes to get the corner carry. Tatsu. Dash up. Back dash away from the throw though. Whip punish. The sweep.
He built like so much meter off of that sequence and so much corner carry as well. Gore, get off of me. Oh! That had to be a mistake. I'd imagine his ideal thought process was to try to get across that DP.
Very strange.
No idea.
Hope something after that overhand. Yeah.